I mean, have you guys tried to Google the phrase real estate investing ideas? I mean, the ideas are endless. It's super easy to get lost inside of the ocean of real estate investing ideas. So after 15 years of real estate experience, I've renovated houses. I've wholesaled houses. I've owned Airbnbs. I've run Airbnb that I didn't own. I've seller financed a house. I've done tenant placement. I've set up lease options. I've owned traditional rentals. I've bought, renovated, and sold my own home, personal home that we lived in. And I've brokered real estate deals with my own real estate license. Maybe more things? Anyway, it's definitely one of our favorite ways to make money. That's why it's definitely included in our 100+ money making ideas. We give it away for free. It's one of the things I give away. It's a list that I keep up with of ideas. You can get it down in the description. Real estate's definitely on there. So out of what I've tried, I'll share my favorites. I'm definitely no expert, but I've been able to try my hand at a bunch of different types of investing. Let's jam, baby! All right, so here are my favorite 3 out of the ones that I mentioned just now. Side note, my buddy and friend, real estate expert Ruben, is going to make his own version of this video. He's also a real estate investor and expert, and I asked him the same question. I'm going to put it at the end of this video, so make sure to go watch his and see what his favorite real estate investing is also. All right, without further ado, drum roll. Pretty bad drum roll. Traditional real estate renovation flips. Good old-fashioned, buy a house, renovate it, and sell it. Makes the top of my list. Now, there's pros and cons. Some pros, you can make some big chunks of cash, some big cash wins. You can also run multiple projects at a time because the homes are going to be in different stages. Like one home you may be trying to buy it, another home you may be in the middle of renovation, and then another home maybe on the market to sell. But some cons I've run into in this type of investing is the market can change on you because the deal can take even up to 6 months. A neighborhood can even change in a 6-month time period where your price could vary a few percentage points, even up to like 5% of the value. So it could really change the end value of your deal. But if you do enough deals over time, that'll work itself out. Unforeseen issues can potentially cause cost overruns, things that you couldn't see in the property when you purchased it before you started the renovations, part of the game. And also, it can take a long time to cash out. It can take 6 to 9 months before you ever see the profit from the investment that you made from a home that you purchased. But a cool way to do these deals can be with a partner where one person can be the kind of operations person that buys, manages the process, sells it. Another person could be a money person that provides the financing. It's good. It limits some risk, or you can have where people go 50-50 on a deal and split the activities of the property renovation. And it's going to take time. So you can buy the house, fix it, you can sell it, you can try to sell it yourself, you list it with a real estate agent, and over time, as you do more of these deals, you will improve at all the pieces of the renovation because you'll get people on your team, you'll get a list of buyers, you'll have real estate agents that are great to work with. You'll keep getting better. Number 2. I love that Airbnb, man. Airbnb rentals. If you guys have been to my channel, I have an entire playlist on Airbnb and pros and cons and things that I've learned. I'm like an OG in Airbnb. I've done it for over 10 years. I started renting a room in my home before I was even married. I just like rented a room to a person. They came and stayed with me. It was kind of strange. I didn't know. I had never done it before. Then we got to the point where we started renting out the home. I literally talked to my wife into leaving our house, like getting it prepared and ready for a renter, and then we would go and take a trip and literally go somewhere for the 3 days that the person was going to be at our home. That did not last long. We did that, but then we turned it into a dedicated Airbnb when we renovated our next house. We completely moved out, moved all of our stuff. So that's just the kind of, oh my gosh, the background of us with Airbnb. We also have rented a property that we did not own. We leased a property and then subleased it on Airbnb, often called Airbnb arbitrage. We did that for 2 years and it was a great experience. I don't think we'd do it again, but it was a cool experience. A really nice downtown loft in our city in downtown Mobile. Definitely profitable, made a good bit of money. Probably wouldn't do that one again. I'd rather have ownership and then be earning equity in a property that we're also paying a note on. So pros of Airbnb, much higher rental rates in general. I think you guys have probably heard if you've been doing research on that. That comes with a caveat though. It depends where you are in a community, where the property is located, but in general, rental rates are going to be much higher because you're renting them out in shorter terms. So on a monthly basis, you can generate much more revenue. Also, there's a lot of tech. There's a lot of softwares and a lot of things that can really help you run a smooth Airbnb operation. And I won't go into detail on those. Find some of my videos, find my Airbnb playlist if you want to check those out. So some of the Airbnb cons, there are a lot of moving pieces with an Airbnb, from having the home fully supplied, communicating with guests and giving them access to properties, and cleaning the property is one of the biggest issues, one of the moving pieces. All things that you don't really have to worry about if it's a long-term rental, but I still love the Airbnb. Another one that we're finding out in our current market, and people I think are starting to learn this, you don't control the rental supply. So if it's easy to get going with Airbnb and people want to Airbnb and list their homes, they can do so, right? Pop their houses on the app, get going. Well, our housing supply has probably doubled in the last year. Now, it's not a bad thing. It's a perfect, it's great. It's competition, right? People come in, there's plenty of opportunity, but it does affect your pricing, right? If your guests or the people that need the short-term rentals don't double and the supply doubles, obviously that's going to limit the occupancy rates, lower the pricing. And last but not least, wholesaling houses, baby. Wholesaling houses. You've probably heard of this one. I'll give you a quick definition. Wholesaling a house is buying a home with a contract, putting a home under contract, but then instead of you potentially being the end buyer, you have another buyer in mind that basically you sell them the contract and they become the end buyer. That's it in its very basic form. Cool way of investing in real estate. It's the way most investors get started, I would say. The most popular with beginners because it has the lowest barrier to entry. Now that has pros and cons on its own, and we'll talk about some of those in just a second. In fact, I'll just go ahead and hit those list, and then, because I'm going to want to interrupt myself with the pros and cons. Pros, it's easy to start. It's basically a marketing business, and it's good cash flow once you're up and running. All right, some cons. You have to get enough leads to get the business going, and it gets a bad rap because there's some kind of bad performers out there or beginners. Maybe they don't have as much knowledge, whatever. So that's what I'm going to real quick. The problem in wholesaling comes when there's a beginner investor that does some marketing and they're trying to make some fees, right? Some thousands of dollars of wholesale fees. But they never have any intention whatsoever of actually buying a home, but yet they give the seller the impression that they're going to be the one that's going to buy that home, and then they go around trying to shop it and trying to sell it, and if they can't, then the whole deal can blow up. So that can be a problem. At the end of the day, real estate investing takes money, but wholesaling, I would say, takes the least amount of money. And if you're upfront and if you're honest with a seller, and you can just tell them exactly what you're doing. Hey, I have a big network of investor buyers. All right. So maybe you're going to go out there and you're going to market and you're going to find these buyers, or you're building your list and right now it's 10 people, but whatever, it's going to become 100. But the whole point is you're telling the seller, hey, I want to agree to buy this property, and I'm either gonna partner with someone and close on it, or I'm gonna market it also to the investors that I know, and just find the seller that's okay with that. You know, if they don't care and they're like, look, man, that's fine as long as I can sell my house, you're in. I mean, it's a great way for you to get started. Wholesaling, definitely my favorite. It's the first thing that I ever did when I got involved in real estate. Before I even got a real estate license, I wholesale deals. So it's near and dear to my heart. Now I'm pumped to see what Ruben has to say. Here it is. Go watch his video. See what his 3 favorite are. This dude's really smart when it comes to real estate and real estate investing. Go see what he has to say.